Welcome to today's show. I am here to talk about many things as a human being. What are we going to talk about? Sorry about that. I have dreams. I have songs. I have learned how to listen to the language that the soul has. The soul has many things to say. And this is the era of time where your soul is saying, can you heal it now? So we're always getting a do-over again and again and again. Now, if you are just being human and you are, if you are just being human, then you are going to be looking at the external, being controlled by the external, responding to the external by all these internal programs. And that is okay. It's the way we lived for so long. But you're beginning to notice that there's dramas and traumas and little things that a lot of us are done feeling. It affects the successes, safety, security, stability, sanity, serenity, in your space, which is your freedom. And be great that we had all those balanced, wouldn't it? Think about it, wouldn't it? But why are we still feel like we have to struggle? We have to do the archetypes of the child of many faces. Why do we have to be in a situation where the prostitute, which is you're selling yourself short, the saboteur, where you're sabotaging yourself, and then you have the victim. And it's not that you want to be the victim, maybe you want to be strong. So we're going to be talking about all these things to do about your soul growth, what you can heal, how do you need to see the patterns so you can wake up, how to involve your soul in understanding a little bit more. So, if you've been following me on Facebook, and there's Medicine Woman Soultion, that's Soultion. That was my main one. And then you have Solution, which is Soltion. I just opened that up and made that, so there's not a copycat. It is me. So please like, follow, share. Thank you. And do those things. And as I keep listening to Spirit, I keep learning and growing and allow myself to be stronger in who and what I'm growing up to be. I'm 58 years old. You're growing up. On a soul level, yes, I'm learning about emotional quotient, that how to regulate. See, here's the problem. As a kid, I only watched how everybody else controlled their emotions. And that's what I learned. Monkey see, monkey do. And I will have to say that I learned from my father's side that violence, dominance, control was what you're supposed to do. And it was a hard life. You know, I know that I felt like at 3 years old, I remember this so clearly. I looked at my sister and I'm not being that, because it hurt my mother. And then I didn't hit me because I don't remember my father much. Oh, thank you. But I think I also said, I am not doing that. And he had a temper, he had violence, he had very low emotional IQ. He's passed on, so I've had experience with my father, so I can learn and talk about from my point of view. And this got passed on down through the children. And I know that I'm like, I don't want to do it. There was just a part of my soul that says, I don't want to do it. So one of the things I learned I used to do, like if I had a trauma, I had something bad happen, I just kind of ripped it out and threw it out in the field. And it wasn't until, so that happened at 7. That's how I took care of my emotions. That's how I stopped the mental chatter. And then I found it when I was like 32. And I drove right by the same spot. It was familiar, even though it was overgrown. I recognized it. And all those emotions come flooding back. Well, as I step into my next purpose of my soul, it is I need to have balanced energy physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. I mean, you have to solve the karmic debt, start to balance out the spiritual debt. And what I did was made a choice at 3, a declaration that I am not doing that. And it becomes this value, what's important to you. And it makes a container for you to live your life by. So it makes and builds beliefs by it. It helps you create an attitude, to develop your personality. But what it also did was cause my energies to not run in balance. So I started to create physical health issues. And here I am, 58 years old, and I'm like, why is my body still acting this way? And part of becoming a spiritual human is to say, I am done with this behavior. I am ready to move forward because this life lesson, this thing that I see that happens in my life every day, it is causing me to not feel safe, secure, stable, sane, or the serenity or the freedom. It is, waking up and it's repetition. It's Groundhog Day. Did you ever watch that movie? And again and again and again. And I said, how do I make this stop? And it's like, how do I get to the root of this? How do I get to the mothership? And when you start to transform the emotions, because you will feel first, because your brain has hardwired it saying this is how you do things. And you have to unwire the brain to feel that first and then create words later. So, so Success Hope Therapy and SP and all the other tools I have is to help break down and dissolve the chemical peptides. But to take and change the way that your attraction factor energy goes out and pulls life experiences in of how you know it. And you're like, but that's not part of my purpose, is to keep repeating this. It is to learn the life lessons and evolve. And that's what I want to do. So what do we do from then on? Well, you start to wake up, and that is you have to start developing your higher self. You have to start having heart-brain coherence, the heart and the brain, and the heart and the brain. Head. Because the brain only operates on programs like when you're asleep and when you don't have to think about how you digest food and all of this. Life lesson issues affect your health. So begin to heal your life lessons, right? But how do you see them? And I have spent over 30 years of answering the questions, the existential questions, and listening. And I found some patterns that keep repeating. And so this is what the second week, doesn't matter what week it is. We did the attachment patterns last week. This week, we're going to talk about control and dominance patterns. And why would your soul choose these? This is where it can sound very convoluted and complicated. So when you think about karma, it's cause and effect, but karmic lessons is you did it and you have to have it done to you. Yes, it is that to some degree, but it's more than that. It can't be just simple or black and white. There's more to it. So, one of the things that Spirit has told me is that when you die, you do a life review. But one of the things that you also do is whoever you ever interacted with, you begin to see through their eyes at you about how you treated them. What tone did you use? What gesture did you use? And how did the words and what did you do? Because at any given moment, you may be able to talk freely and dominate one person, but over in the next person, oh my God, no, you can't. And we think, maybe if I do this and I do this and I do this, then maybe I can, you know, well, you have to pay attention to these personalities. You've either had it done to you or you're doing it to someone else. You may do it when you're mad. I'm going to trust that. I'm just going to trust that I got to sign in, and it's like life issues. No, I did a big thing this weekend when it came to my soul. I have been putting together, making soul cards along with my success protocol patterns, and I've been noticing that I have soul codes that we can help people to evolve. So I have been, and so like I said, as a soul, I made a declaration at 3 years old that I am not going to act like that, be like that. It became a value. It was so important that my body and my life started to follow the value. I am not going to be like that. So I took a passive position. At first, we thought, hey, we're doing this just to survive. But now we look around and we're going, ooh, that's a personality. It's a chemical life. That's a personality I want. That's a personality I don't want. Oh, but then you may try to do both. So as I chose to take that position, maybe because I had fear, but I also chose that position because I am not going to be like that. And that's what hit me, was that my energies, yang energy, is about fire, and it's about action, and it's about this. And my yin comes up and supports that, anchors it so the fire don't get out of control. And my female and my male energies are not running appropriately. So I start having issues with my immune system, and I start having issues that my body can't cool me down. And we're not going to go heavy on that. But what I want you to know is that I have my attraction factor is constantly putting out that I need to see the very thing I don't want. So I may want to go towards happiness and joy, but I'm running and saying I am not going to be that. So I got to always put in the universe that make sure I'm not that. So there'll be ways that will make me want to come out and fight. Or I'm supposed to be a leader because it's inside I'm a Leo. And it's like, how can I'm struggling in life to get this message out. And before it was like, I don't like confrontation. These are the old thoughts. But as I keep healing every day, the emotions, the words come out differently. And it's not about confronting, it's about communication. I no longer have to see my husband or my friends or my family be who and where I learned it from the first. So you will take the characters when you first are born, and they are the main characters. And as you get older, these characters get swapped out like in a soap opera. And so you don't recognize the signature and the patterns of how you received it, how you responded to it. And, well, that's what you would have. You would have all of these things. And I said, I'm not doing this. So I wrote, basically I typed into, because that's the value, and values control basically how you aim. I am not doing that. I'm not going to be controlling. I'm not going to be demanding. I don't like that. And the amount of energy I put into that, the universe said, okay, she's just ordered that she doesn't want to see it, be it, but yet it's in her cards that she's supposed to be a leader, but not in a very dominant way, not in a very demanding way. So I have all these things to learn. And so I've been doing memes. So if you follow Facebook, I've been doing these musical memes. And a song would come in, and I would ask Spirit what that means, and then I'd look and see if it had to, if there's any negative to it, I would heal it out. And that's what I did. Well, this last one, I asked, okay, I keep seeing this control, this dominance, this and that, and I'd like to switch timelines. And so knowing the question, I wrote it down, and then I took my soul cards and I drew some cards. And basically it says, well, you see it because you have contained your male energy, the yang, and because I contained it, my body's showing it, but I also have to show how it's maybe not in my house, not in my field, and I'm not doing it and not receiving it, but I'm still seeing it many rings out. And I'm like, okay. So it was a choice, a declaration that I have to look at, but I have to look at the emotions to why I made that choice. So a song came, and I sat there and I held L2D. This is the soul code L2D. And I looked at how I had to contain myself. Okay. No back talking, no this, no that. But then the things that I didn't think I remembered. I mean, I would hear stories how I would take a pan and hit my sister beside the head because she made me mad. And I remember just being angry all the time. And I think my mother got in my face or my father got in my face and gave me a dominancy, which then all of a sudden I didn't like. So I would be more passive. And the only way to survive these events, because you're little, you have to adapt. And so I created a fractal part of me, a fragmentation, and I adapted and I chose to be the good girl, but based on this declaration, I am not going to be like that. And then I watched throughout my life how I let someone hurt me, but I stood back up because I was told don't fight back. And when you're stuck in an extreme but don't fight back, you can get very abused. And when you're in the pleaser mode, then it's the trauma response. And that's where I was. And so I began to heal the trauma response. So now it's starting to even out, it's like, no, now I'm supposed to step up, but I don't need to go into the extreme. I can take the wisdom from where I was. So after I got done with the healing, I was like immediately the song, Tell Her About It. Tell her about it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, my masculine side wants to share with my feminine side, about its journey and all of these things. Now, I know I've been in a recalibration for a couple of days, and that means it's recalibrating your life, the attraction factors, all of these things so you can see that you have real permanent change. Now, I woke up to a dream, because, I asked before bed, where am I on this? What else do I need to heal? And the dream was very interesting because I was like, I had a sister, so she was present, and we had to go back and forth this long journey. And so this time I didn't go back with her, but I went and started looking at stuff at people's houses, garage sales or whatnot. And I wanted the whole part of the dream says, look at the green tiles. I wanted these green tiles for my bathroom floor. And the bathroom is about the cleansing and the healing and the changing. And the foundation needs to be changed. Now, the old foundation is what the problem is. And then as I ran there just fine, looked around, not that building. Oh, I found it. And then when I got there, there was a bunch of people there, and I couldn't find the green tiles. And as I'm looking, somebody accused me of knocking stuff over when they were the ones that did it. And then the owners come in and started making me feel bad, guilt and shame. So I fixed it and cleaned it, whatever. And then I had to hurry back, right? Because she's coming back. And I could not run. So I turned around and ran backwards. And in my definitions, running backwards is to help reset my nervous system. So I'm really doing good, booking along, just can't see which way I'm going. And eventually I turn around, and then I am on the pitcher mound, in baseball where they're going to pitch their ball. And I'm standing out. Now, what's interesting is that it's elevated. And I'm looking around, and life is going on. Yes, I'm there. Like, who cares? I'm in the spotlight. But life goes on. And so I get off the mound, and I run towards where my sister would have been. But at the same time, I met up with somebody that was in high school. It was a male. And I just said, "Oh my God, I just ran 85 miles." And in my mind, I'm thinking, "No, you can't." And so then I said, "I'm really tired." And then I lost $500 because I noticed that my purse was missing and my phone was not there. So I couldn't connect to let people know where I was. And I just felt this urgency I'm going to get in trouble. And so like, yeah, whatever. And he was busy about his life and went off. And so my masculine side has had a different life. Can't communicate with the rest of me. So I'm still disconnected. Okay, then I met up with what was supposed to be her son, but it's the son of my other sister. And he's like, "Oh, mom's going to be real mad." And so this authority is going to be mad. And I'm like, "I don't want that to happen. And I tried to explain it. And so that's where I am in the dream. And that's where I am. And it's like the song that I woke up to is that I'm in the danger zone. I got a song and I got the dream. And when you work with your soul, you can really get some deep information. So the only question I need to know or say is, what do I want this dream? Where do I need to heal? What is it telling me? Not too many questions. And then you can take that information, go a little further. Okay. Okay. So and I feel like I need to develop an app, but I don't know how to do that. So I just leave it up to spirit. Okay. That's what you do. You leave it up to spirit. Um, and so, I mean, I'm doing my best to come up with uh, ways for you to do this without me. I want people to follow and grow and this and that and learn from me, but I don't want you to depend on me. I want you to learn to listen to your soul so that you can move forward. Okay. So again, I'm doing tons of research, and when you take this dream, the song, I don't have a foundation so that my masculine and my feminine can communicate to acknowledge each other, to do what they were designed to do, to support one another and have balance. So I know my little self that I have been trying to tell myself is that I'm at a threshold and I can change what I need to change. I'm stepping into a new territory, but my conditioned self, it says the definition is it's all should be fearful. You can't do that. You already know what's going to happen because it's a conclusion from fear. And I'm like, oh, I don't really, but the song is not a warning. It is confirming that when you cross into certain zones, your old identity is telling you already what the conclusions are, and the soul is calling. So I now have to stand in the position of finding out what I need to heal. So when I drew the Four of Wands, if you just want to use tarot cards in the sense of it, that's what I'm trying to. I'm not making tarot cards as much as I'm making soul cards. But when things are in reverse, when you look at the progression of where you are with your emotions, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. What are you doing? You can ask any question, and you will hear the progression, what you need to do, where have you been, why is it happening. See, and I'm not meant to come from the program that I'm supposed to fix it, run, hide, and believe in conclusions. I need to heal from there. So the cards are saying right now, I'm stepping out of the old identity into the new identity. Now, how do I know this? All the signs point to it, especially yesterday as I have, you'd swear I thought I was, been hacked, but I wasn't. It was just identity. I have to clear my identity. I have to say, yes, this is me. So I had to make a video to prove it was me. I had to, so now I've got my site back. I've got this. And because I chose to open up a YouTube and another business page to go along with what I'm doing, it was verification. I had to verify that, yes, this is what I'm choosing to do. This is what I'm stepping up to do. Now the ego would go, I don't think so, and then try to dominate the situation to go back to what it knows to keep it safe. And this kind of control is because you chose, and for me, I chose to contain and dominate myself and say, I don't want to do this. Okay, so I'm looking at how I'm living by conclusions. The soul cards are telling me that the old foundation is not meant to be fixed because it no longer serves. The suppressed part of me is such a habit. I have to break this habit because it's blocking my initiation. And the part where the male and the female are not actually communicating, there's no heartbreak coherence on this. So I haven't learned how to hold that particular space for myself. So I have to start acknowledging and seeing that my life force is back instead of looking and installing the old way of being. I have to hold my sovereignty. I have to acknowledge the identity that I'm building and not apologize for it. So there's a lot of root situation, the root chakra, is that needs to be balanced. And I need to balance my inner fire. I have to begin to understand how to grow. Okay. Being that said, my husband's laughing right now. Let's go back to how the patterns that I've seen over the years. The second one is this control personality, where it has to dominate. Now, because of karma, because you're meant to see the different perspectives. So the kaleidoscope of perspectives about your life, about a story, about, like I'm going to suppress my power, my personal life force power, or I can express it. So I've noticed that people express differently, inward, outward. Well, I don't express outward, so I express it in, which causes my energies to be so messed up in my body. Where I've seen other people just lash out, and because these are external, internal, these are the choices that you can do. And these are the things, the life lessons of, wait a minute, do I need to just internalize or externalize in such a dramatic, in extreme fashions? Or can I process the emotions, which process the thoughts, which then helps to balance out? So the ego, the way you would see controlled dominance is that because they are running with a trauma response, trauma happened, their response is, I have to control the situation. And if I control you and I control you and I control you, then I will feel safe, right? Well, people won't see the triggers. The people will just start to see the efficiency pattern of their brain. So it's just normal to sit there and say, well, this is just who I am. So narcissism is one way to do it. Gaslighting, because you're like, I can outsmart people. I'm better than you. It's all of that 3D separation and no empathy. And it's going to cause you to always have an unhealthy life or with relationships to yourself, because when you treat other people like crap, that mirror is that I was treated like crap, and now I need to treat others like crap so I don't have to feel like crap. So you have this particular first mirror. And if you can't wake up and realize that, you know how they feel because you've been there. But because you had to squash it, suppress it, contain it, throw it out, because this personality was not accepted by whoever you were with, and you had to put on a mask that was acceptable. So first of all, you have to adapt. Secondly, you're turning around and putting on a thing that everybody else is doing. Now, when your heart gets involved, it doesn't really want to do that. So when you see people that are narcissistic, gaslighting, emotional intimidation, I'd rather be right than wrong. I would rather be right than happy. It is, they have to dominate because that's what they learn. So when a child's born, they don't know the difference between love and hate. They're just, hey, hanging out until they match, mirror, copy, monkey see, monkey do. But then when it becomes where you're forced to be dominant because you got to be strong out in that world, you need some street smarts and whatever, okay? As your heart and your soul wake up, you got the soul's urge that you don't want to act that way anymore. It's not that it's bad. It's just, I don't really like that feeling. Now, love and above is great, but when you are looking at the patterns that you're supposed to guilt somebody into doing what you want, there's going to be karmic kickback. Okay. If you keep reinvesting in your trauma responses or these conditioned patterns, by the age of 25 or 30, you have already memorized, and you're not, why learn anymore? Well, that's where your soul comes in and says, but that's not who you are. You're not just human. You're a spiritual human. Let your soul, because you're here, but you're meant to be way over here. And how many times does it take to wake you up? So when you begin to look at these expressions, it's just that they're very fearful. Now, in ego, again, they are convinced others to see only their version of the truth. And it's so weird because when I'm around people like this, they literally are looking through just their face and they can't see any other perspective but that one. And they don't understand why you can't see what they see. And you're over there in a different perspective. And so the soul is saying, hold on. You have life force. And we want you to get back to love so that fear is not meant to be to control you. So we have to show you the right use of your life force power so that you can get back to love. And that's what the 5D is about. So your true, authentic authority comes from inner alignment. And when the inner alignment starts to realign with the heart-brain coherence, then your attraction factor goes out and brings to you ways of being that you no longer serve, because your new value container is what's important to me is love. When that happens, you have to start seeing where your life force to survive, to adapt, strategies like controlling somebody, winning the fight, you have to go, wait a minute, because you're starting to feel them physically, and you keep seeing every day, Groundhog Day, the same story that can be very negative or forces you to feel like you have to struggle. When Spirit taught me that suffering is an option, I thought, you're joking. And then I got to see many perspectives, and I thought, oh my goodness, it's true. So you don't want to control. It's about coherence. It's about balance. It's about how the yin and yang work together. And when you have that inner alignment, your attraction factor starts to show you better options, healthier options, fun options, soul purposes, without having to keep going and through and digging yourself out of a hole. You don't have to communicate with gaslighting to get your point across so you can win the fight, or gaslight so that you can control the situation to feel better. You can use a tool now like OMG or Success Hope Therapy. We're done. Emotional manipulations is disguised as care. No, we don't need that anymore. That person, that's where I am right now. Okay, very good. We can help you evolve because your soul is asking you to. That's why you're here. But emotional regulation isn't to contain it, throw it away, or condemn it, or adapt, or it is to take it and say, and this is what's the beauty of, I don't want to be this anymore when I grow up. And Success Hope Therapy are soul codes to use your body to help you dissolve the chemical peptide on the way that you think that you have to be. Now, we have, what controllers. Now, what about the person on the other end? They receive this. Okay, they learn to over-explain, to apologize, preempt a conflict, shrink themselves, avoid because it's too much. You have to walk on eggshells. But the receiver has a lot to do with collapsing. And you need to heal this so then you can stop attracting in these people that are in control. So our emotions lie to us, and our left brain comes up with some doozies because it has been proven scientifically that when you cut the brain hemispheres in half, the right brain said, hey, here's the word walk. And you're like, yeah, it's this. The left side shows the right. And then the left brain doesn't see the word walk. And they say, well, why'd you walk? Well, it's because I was thirsty. Not because you saw the word. The left brain is designed for logic, but the left brain also is to give meaning. But if your heart and your heart brain and your right brain is not connected to the left, and you're disconnected from love and source and higher self, you don't have to believe your own BS. That's the survival mode. Now get in your body. Allow yourself to say, I am, and say your name and your age. Do that several times. Take your hand off. Do it again. Say your name and your age. And then put your spirit back into your body. And you say, connect my spirit back into my body 100% where it belongs. I put my spirit back into my body 100% where it belongs. And you can say connect and put back and just feel that you're, instead of being beside yourself, you're like an accordion, but you bring yourself back in. These can just be the first steps, but you got to begin to listen and to hear and to understand. It's not to condemn yourself, shame yourself. It's not to do that to others, but you need to build healthy intuition. Because when you give your power away, you can be on that receiver, your question, your intuition, you don't trust yourself. You have to live this because that's what your soul wanted to do. And at other points, you've been dominating with others, and that you're like, I don't see anything wrong with that. But yet, you do if you don't let the other person have a voice. If you don't learn how to and respect and include that these are different perspectives. Hi. Oh, hi. Haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. Yeah, Leon. That's good. It's been a while. Yes. So we need to understand that, as a receiver, it can hurt, but as a giver, you learn to hide your joy in the wrong place, but you are still quite disconnected because these are all trauma responses. The soul wants you to know that you're never meant to be small. You're not meant to be controlled. You're not meant to have to constantly be living in a trauma response of, but it's funny. I gaslit them. Oh, ha, ha, ha. I manipulated them. I got what I want. We have to wake up and realize that some of these are unhealthy behaviors because you're doing it because you need to control, because fear is going to get you if you don't. So we project our own unresolved fear because we experienced it in the first place. When you begin to take control and processing the emotions of fear, I don't want them to find out. I don't really want to do this, but I can't say anything. All these different things. You don't have to control yourself. You don't have to do this. Allowing your heart brain to become balanced, there's a voice that begins to rise. There is a balanced part of you. Because it's so weird, because what came up was the word domesticating, institutionalized, colonization. I'm like, emotional colonization, taking over someone's emotional space as if it was belonged to them. And I'm like, whoa, that's crossing the territory, because it was done to them. You got to see that. Your littles, it was done to you first. And when you're looking through your own face and you think they're stupid, why aren't you seeing the same perspective I am? Wake up. Your soul needs to connect, because otherwise your life, your physical body and your life is going to always be in some form of suffering. Do you all understand this? Do you understand? So where am I coming with this? Well, first of all, learn to listen with your soul. We want you to become a spiritual human. We want you to take your life force back and get the wisdom by dismantling and changing the way you do things. You do not need to have a strategy to control others. You can use a different strategy, and that is to take care of the anger, the emotions, the fear, but it's a trauma response. It's no different than if you're a people pleaser, and that's hard to break. But if you begin to wake up with your heart, you can choose whether or not do I want to dominate others. When you start to feel that you have to control the situation, you have a choice. You can take your right wrist and you can go down 2 fingers. That's the fingernail width, 1, 2, under the thumb. Place your thumb there, and you do it nice and soft. Okay. And you put your finger here and you place it like this and drop your fingers. And you sit in the feel, not the emotion or the thoughts. You sit in the feel of remembrance. And you're sitting there and you're like, oh God. And if you feel like it was in your face, or you feel like that domination is there, feel, because anxiety is going to come up, fear is going to come up, and then this personality you have to start putting on, because it was so conditioned, that the part of you that was love that is probably still tied up somewhere under the cupboard. You need to go get your littles, but you can't bring out your littles until you start making it safe, because the personality became your safety blanket. That can be hard. That can be very hard. So what is it? Well, in some people, they don't want to be irrelevant. Well, it's the same position, right wrist, second position, soft. I don't like that feeling when somebody is in control and I become irrelevant, and I see this as a challenge, or I see that I have to dominate them so I can be relevant. But feel the feels. Don't necessarily have to hear the words. Now, if you begin to hear a dominant phrase, write it down. But if you're going to go, it's because of this and the excuse is this, then you're saying, I don't want to heal this because it's too fearful. Just sit into the anxiety. Feel how the body goes, oh, it's right there. And in a moment or two, you can go, wait a minute. I'm going to do this. And then, within 10 to 15 minutes or quicker, depending on how often you do it, you can take that emotional chemical peptide that's telling you you're supposed to be this way and take the key out, and then, oh, your cells feel better. So your strategy, instead of going, oh my God, it's fear, and I got to adapt by controlling others so I can control this fear. How about you go in and say, okay, I am done and I need to heal this root, this fear that tells me, or I have to match and mirror how my family did. Do you? Be the tie-dye shape. Heal yourself. Start doing the healer's journey. YouTube's mic goes soft. I don't know if there's anybody else that's having problems with the voice. See what happens. But people, are you getting this though? We're not here to accuse. We're not here to shame. We're not here to minionize. That's so 3D. But we're here. But we're here. Yeah, I can't see the screen at all. It's gone. That's why I got to trust. So I didn't record. Let's see. Yeah, it's too late now. It goes up and down. I didn't do anything. I mean, I could try to pull this closer. But, you know, why am I pleasing right now? Well, I'm pleasing because this is part of my job. I want a good recording. That any better? You get loud, then soft. Okay, so the only thing is this mic. It's on. Maybe if I do this. Still looks like it's plugged in. Your mic default has changed to Logitech Brio. Microphone's changed to, that's why I'm interchanging. Okay. So this is a clue. My voice, my masculine, my feminine, my voice, I'm switching between two microphones, and I'm not sure why it's switching. I'm going to make this big. It says the microphone is the Yeti. And now, if I'm using this Yeti, is it loud? Yeah. Joanna, thank you. It's that is the Facebook. And so I'm using the phone directly. I have other 1, 2, 3, 4 platforms I'm doing this on. So now if I choose the Logitech, is the Logitech loud or soft? Because I just went to Logitech, the Brio. So what does this sound like? And yeah, Brenda, that does not help when you click on that. Yes. Okay. So is this one loud or soft? Let's go to the other one. I might have to fix my Yeti. And this is the Yeti. This is the speaker, the big ass mic. Oh, just big one right here that I can't seem to pick up. Ah. All right. And better, I think. This one right here is better. I might just leave it. I don't know which one's which. I'll have to fix it later. So there, right there can be, instead of going externally going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, I can see that I am seeing a pattern. It's loud, it's better. Okay, I'm not sure which one's on right now, but we will end up fixing it. Okay, apparently that was muting. Oh, that's hilarious. I could just unhook this one. That way I don't have to worry about it popping in and out. So you could literally say that the in and out voice was my masculine and my feminine, masculine and feminine, and they're still not communicating. Thank goodness it's communicating on Facebook and I think on TikTok as well. But it's when you go just to conclusion, it's because of this, and this. You are more or less operating through a personality. And when you want more insights, go in and see the bigger picture and see how old it's not, like there's not one answer, not one panacea to help somebody. So you need to use all the tools in your toolbox. And so when I look at this, some tools work, some tools don't. But so when I'm looking at my spirituality and I see the bigger picture, I get to see all the different, and then basically you start listening. Hi, Susan. You basically start listening from a soul level. And when you do so, you can start building that soul intuition and you will become more happier and healthier because the coherence is going to make your body stronger and healthier. And the attraction factor of bringing people in is going to make a world of difference. Okay. All right. So some of you are first time reader or first time here, you get a free reading. Some of you I haven't seen in a while. I'm glad that you're here. And we're going to do something just a little different. Well, Susan, have you ever had a reading before? Let me know. If not, we can look at a soul reading. What is it the soul wants you to address? Because here at Medicine Woman Soultion, your soul has a solution to change something, whether you're looking at it from the physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual aspects. This is your first time here. I'd love a reading. So anything particular that you want to aim at or a bigger particular question? Because I've been using different kind of soul cards lately because I'm creating a deck. And, well, I'm love to see how it helps. Oh, well, we already have a card that's come up. It's interesting. Don't know what your question is. Not necessarily need a question, but and I don't invade anybody's space. So your energy is telling me one way or the other. Even loved ones come along and tell me. And okay, I can't see the screen. What is that on there? So anything in particular that you would like to know? Because all I can tell you at this point is my soul card jumped out at me. You are in the present and the energy of what you want. Oh, here we go. I've been talking a lot to my parents that have passed, and I'm worried about my future. Okay, first of all, worry is a fear, and it doesn't allow the love to come through so that you can hear or understand your soul or your loved ones. I'm worried about not having enough money. Remember, what you focus on is like ordering to the Amazon universe, and it comes back so you can see that you're right. Well, we want to change that. So worry is your key word that you're using over and over and over. I'm worried about moving just in general, I guess. So all I can tell you is that the soul card came in sideways. And the soul is trying to tell you that your life force is not quite stuck, but it's not quite moving. Your desire and will is there, but an old program to worry blocks you. So the seed of doubt keeps coming in again and again and again. And if I had asked Spirit, well, if that's the case, because there's all this worry, first we're going to give you a spot for worry. And you can learn to measure it because you know it's there because you keep using it. You're like, if I worry, well, it's a pattern. Okay, it's the way that you thought that you needed it. So your soul is saying with the soul card, I want. And this is the emotional body area. So what you need to do to release is this particular emotion so that you can move into the activation area. And we have to look at the emotions. Okay. So when I'm looking at this, when we look, you don't have, you did, your foundation that you had is unstable. So this, one of the successes is stability, is that you feel, I don't trust, so I worry. I don't trust, I don't have that foundation of understanding, stability, emotional safety. And so I said, well, where do we want to do? The first thing is that you have to start to remove the anxiety. Begin to know when you are going there with your thoughts going, oh my God, or have to worry. Now, I teach about success. It's 6 S's: safety, security, stability, sanity, serenity, and space, which is freedom. You use your own body to help you. So worry. Okay, notice your breath, know the anxiety. You say maybe it's a 10. When I'm thinking about it, when I'm not thinking about it, I can feel it. You know, it may be only a 5. Well, that's fine. We don't really need words. We just need sensations and feelings. So you take your right wrist. Okay, this is your left, this is your right. And I don't know how it looks like on the screen, but I'm going to have to get new socks of these. I guess I will have to. I got every other glove here but the one I need. How bizarre is that? Right hand, second position. Now, under the thumb, you're going to use your fingernail width. 1, 2. Notice it's not under the pinky. It's over here. And you're going to place your thumb nice and soft. You put your finger in the palm. Safety, security, stability. Put this heel of this palm, 1, 2, right here and let it drop. Now, feel the body. Feel the feelings. Okay. You don't have to amp it and ramp it. Just sit with it. And this is a before and after. So you write down a particular before, and then you begin to hold it. Now I'll stay with you, and while you're doing healing, and then after you feel it starting to come down, measure it again. We want to build it to 0, because the part of your foundation is I don't trust. Once you get it down to, okay, the worry, the anxiety, all of that, because I watch my parents do it. I watch, this is how you're supposed to do it. But if I can, and if you get the body to come in, then you wanted to deal with the idea about trust, because you have the compulsion to keep following the worry is to not trust. So when your family did not trust, okay, so then you would go over to the right wrist again, but this time first position, pushing deep, finger in palm, safe, secure, stability, palm here, fingers drop. And you are going to work on, I don't trust myself, but I just want you to feel. I want you to see how you learned it. Who didn't trust? Why do you got to constantly see this pattern? Okay. And that's what that's about. And then after 10 or 15 minutes or so, that'll go down to 0 and stay there a little longer, and then measure afterwards. But witness how the body and you learn to switch. Now, if you immediately go right back into it, then there'll be other things we have to do. But do you understand what I'm telling you? Because we want communication at this point. Communication is very good, very good. And it needs to be that you get this. I used tools and kept asking, why am I having this reaction? Good on you, April Lynn. Very good. Hi, Angela. Hi, Vicki. Hi, Amy. What if your physical body stays sick and you won't get out of your own way to move forward, no matter what you do or try? Oh, so that you have a repetitive pattern. I've tried everything to get well. What does this mean? Now, see, the only reason I'm answering this again, because it's an awesome question. These are the deep roots. This is the spiritual debt. This is the this is the spiritual debt. This is what do you call it? The karma. Susan says, yes, I do. I understand, and it is a good practice, and I will try it. Don't just try it. Take the action. You are so worth it. I have worked on regulating my anxiety, and it has helped. Don't just regulate it. You want to resolve to evolve. You want to heal instead of deal. You don't want to cope, manage, deal, pacify, or even regulate. Apparently, I need to add that word. So, Susan, you can rewatch this again on YouTube. Woman Soultion, that's Soultion, and you can't see it, but there's a clock behind me. Well, that would be your timestamp. So in the big screen, you're going to look for your name and your timestamp, and you can rewatch this until you are ready. Okay, and so getting back to Joanna's I lost Joanna's question. Okay, yes, when you keep repeating, oh, there we go. When you keep repeating over and over and over, and you keep getting the same results, and you tap or you do this, it's because you've got to start seeing the pattern. This is the soul work where you are training to become more of your higher self and less of your ego's mask or your littles. You are learning to tame and create emotional regulation. So you're raising your EQ, which makes and produce better words for you. Instead of believing into the fear, you are learning to have more of a heart-brain coherence, and your nervous system does not have to just propel you into this is how you're always supposed to behave. So you're healing backwards and you're breaking the condition. So with Joanna, I'm going to help her understand. And this is where we got to look at that deeper thing. Now, we can say, oh, we've been working on that emotion, but sometimes if you don't have it lined up, then you're only lining up to the same particular pattern. And so then as you're trying to move the puzzle piece into the alignment to say, yes, I want to continue on. Okay, so my phone over here is going slow. We're going to try this again to line up. So that's why you keep healing again and again. Well, this is where you need to go deeper into healing. And that's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you a card, and a soul card, in just a second. Oh. So my live's going to end on this one. I'll have to restart it because there's so many programs running on it that I can't get the puzzle piece in. Let's try it again. How interesting. The internet must be really bad. Okay, sorry about that. And you may have to come over to YouTube because my connection is really bad here. I can't even turn it around. Okay, let's see if that'll work. Okay, we're having technical difficulty. That's kind of the first sign, Joanna, is that you have technical difficulty. But we're going to take this. So we're going to say, okay, we're going to pick a soul card for her. And the thing is that I've done everything and I'm still sick. Why am I sick? Well, the first thing that comes up on a soul card, let's see here. What does your soul want you to know on the physical level? On the physical level. Okay, I'm going to have to shut down and restart this one because it's not letting me do it. You're waiting, assessing, evaluating, pausing before investing more. You are in this particular state. You're checking if something is worth the effort. There's a particular pattern that you're physically doing. So what are you waiting for? What is the assessing? What is the evaluating? It's like, it's a slow growth. Nothing wrong with a slow growth. Okay. But the body is saying that you have a habit. Is it safe? Is it worth it? Should I go forward? And if I ask particularly, what age would you have had set this? I'm looking around 8 years old. And that's when I start to feel very deficient and second guessing. And then it became just a habit. And so it's like, this is my story. Whatever is going on from 8, you went into a pattern that I don't feel safe. Oh, now what? You are welcome to. Okay, so we have to look at this, Joanna. Hopefully we didn't lose too much. You can go to YouTube, which it's still got a nice, strong connection. Oh, goodness. All right. You can let life frustrate you, or you can just say, okay, I'm just going to take control in a very much of a spiritual sense. Oh, she said yes. Okay, good. So what do you know about 8 years old? Let's have a conversation. Let's have a conversation. Okay. And we'll go from there. So at 8 years old, I said, what do you want this person to know? I hesitated. I was mortified. And this can be an extreme shame. So have you ever been mortified? Have you ever had something do you remember anything at 8? Because a lot of your life force is around that. And I feel like a declaration as well is around that, which would prevent you from bringing the life force from 8 into now. And it has shown up because the body is saying, I just got triggered. It's still in what was in my environment then, feels like it's there now. Okay. So the delay is quite huge, but we'll get there. Mom rejected me. Very good. So you could feel how that connection of love broke. Well, it seems to be still on YouTube, which is good because I got nothing on this end. So yeah, I did. All right, so mom rejected you, and you then had to adapt. You had to put your personality of joy away. You had to put on the mask. And even though you've aged, your body has memorized that moment because it never was able to okay. What we want you to do is that you use the word mom rejected me. Now, you may think no big deal, but get into the moment. And what I want you to do is we want you to go to the right wrist. And what's interesting is how go to the right wrist, second position, nice and soft. And I want you to just feel, don't think, just feel. Feel how the body was at the time when you were 8. Thank you, Autumn. Just feel. Because your body is saying, I didn't know what to do with those emotions. I didn't know what to do with all of that. I couldn't process this. You did everything you could, and now we're going to help the little. So this is not a one-off, meaning, oh, I've done this and I should be healing. You know, my health is returned. No, you at 8 had created a life, and you have put in certain limitations, certain restrictions, certain behaviors. So when you begin to heal these emotions, all that's got to be recalibrated. And then the test will come up again. And then you'll go, oh, and if you pay attention, it'll be different. You don't want that rejection, and you're going to do everything you can to fix that rejection. But yet, or I don't know what to do with it. So I don't know what the next layer will be, but just start where you are, begin to heal backwards. And then as you do, then your words will change, your story will change, and you will be able to move better. Okay. Whew. All right. Anybody else on Facebook land have any questions? Leon, are you still here? Oh my goodness. Good to see you. I've thought about you throughout the years. You like I would be hearing a song, and the next thing you know, you're in my head. So you're learning to master the physical a lot more. That's good. You're welcome, Joanna. Again, you can look and rewatch it on YouTube. Ah, you're new. That's good. What would you like to address? What would you like to know? What would you like to think about? Okay, there you are. Did you want a reading or a thing to hold to heal, or you see what I'm saying? Just let me know. And you just want a general. Okay. When you're looking at your life, and we're looking at Stanley, this is not a normal type of reading. This is, what does your soul want you to address? What emotions, what could block you, what could be moving forward? Okay. So your soul is saying to you that there has been territory issues in the past and in the present. And if you were to look at the term territory, your soul is saying it's time to do some soul work. Okay. Somewhere along the past, around in 6 years old, somebody crossed the territory where it was your boundary. And the soul is saying it's time to get your power back, because whatever you're trying to do today, that incident doesn't allow you to have the power you need to do what it is you want to do today. Does that make sense? All right, that was for Stanley. And Leon says, things have been crazy for the last 2 years. Ah, well, your health, has it improved? Because there's a part of you that I feel like you have been like, yeah, I'm taking control. I'm doing this. I want to move forward. So Leon, yes. So if I said to Leon, what do you want to do? They said, it's like the same thing with Stanley over here, territorial issues. So if you both are taking and noticing that your territory has been, I feel like the outside's territory has been crossing, because it's like you guys, or you people, whoever, you're supposed to do something. So somebody will like cross the territory so that you will do something for them. And he says, why do you both have? Because you both grew up around where language and like fear and all these other things was used as a weapon, or the way people used to have to control things so that they could feel better. And your job is to help maybe self-regulate, to fix. And it's weird because in both of you, I can feel that I don't think I'm supposed to, but I'll keep doing it, right? No, this is your survival pattern. This is the way that you saw your role to be. But both of you are actually done with having to hear love, almost feel like they're going to take it away. Or, well, if you do this for me, it means you love me. I think you're meant to both learn what is the language. And do you need to be controlled by this? The answer is exactly. So what I would suggest for Leon, and it's very strong, is feel how I can't behave the way I want around this type of signature. So the very first thing then I would say is, because you can measure that and you can understand that, then you would go right wrist, first position, deep. Okay? Measure it, write it down. And then the second thing I would say for you, Leon, is that when you're around certain people, you feel wiped out. You have nothing left for yourself. And when this begins to happen, then take your left wrist, second position, write down how you know you feel wiped out. Place it up here and go, I feel wiped out. Feel. Understand how you know this. Do you understand? Measure it down, get it down to 0. And then begin to notice, because you're going to feel the difference. You need to witness, oh, wow, I just took control of how my cells are acting, my nervous system is acting. And yes, the outside may not change right away, but then you have to change in here. You have to change in here to your reaction. So we're building a different pattern because we need to begin to have you feel safe. So I because when I say, do you feel safe around this person? It is, I don't know. Well, that I don't know, you need to go right wrist, second position, okay? And you are going to push in deep, and you're going, I don't know if I feel safe, because the people that you love, you're supposed to feel safe. But there are times and very specific points where you didn't feel safe, and yet you feel like this is how I'm supposed to be. So these 3 particular spots, measure how you know them, get them down to 0, and then understand, you witness the feeling that you have the ability within yourself to change this, because you're learning that soul work. And then you're looking out. And then when you are paying attention with your heart and brain coherence, then the situation is going to repeat itself. Are you going to respond the same? Or are you going to go, I see it. Okay, back to the drawing board, because it's another perspective. It's another layer. And your aspect that you created to always show up to protect you needs to start to feel that it doesn't have to do that. It can start to be integrated in your life, your energies can start to show up for yourself, which then you start to dismantle the spiritual debt and the karmic debt from the soul's perspective. Leon, I'm so happy that you're stronger. I feel stronger. I feel, it's good to hear from you. It's been a while, or as it was, some people say it's been a minute. So apparently that's an American thing. But Leon, that's great. It's great. Heal. The world's meant to cab you around. So we're going to look around. Now, Stanley, the thing is did you hear the points that I gave Leon? You two simultaneously had this particular energy field, the signature field, and it sounded like that you went through it. But use the healing tools. Those are going to be new for you, but you can use your codes, the soul codes, and decode that particular emotions, those frequencies, and change the way that your brain says, we automatically have to feel this and think this. No, you as a soul are supposed to, I need to break this down, help my cells, help my nervous system, return yourself back to a very healthier, calm time, and watch if you're going to quickly do a knee-jerk reaction to protect yourself and all these other things, because you eventually want to have more emotional sovereignty and autonomy, and you can do so. You can rewatch the video and you can follow along. Yes, coherence, and follow along with the healing tool, which is Success Hope Therapy. Go over to YouTube. That's what you can do. So thank you very much for letting me be of service. Anybody else before I should open up and see if anybody's paid. Now, you can pay. Everything, afraid to open that up, but I think it's just the internet that's doing it. Okay, I got it to function, I think. So April, Miss April. Thank you, universe. Okay, Miss April Lynn, she has paid $15 for a chat, what spirit wants. Now, she's been doing this for a while, so this is going to be a report card, and it's going to be like, what is her next thing? Okay, so again, I'm creating a whole bunch of soul cards that is about language. So I'm looking at something very particular. Okay, so where you're at as like a progress report is from what I can see. So give me a second to, okay. Ooh. All right. I'm looking at an emotional state. Okay, so I'm looking at this, surprise, right? This energy field. You're looking at something familiar, some innocence, some trust building, which is good, right? You're at a point where you're saying, I'm at the choice point that I want some soul recognition. I want to change that alignment and I have a heart coherence. So you are in the soul state. You are more emotionally aligned than you have been before. So that progress is that you're doing way better than you did before. Okay. And you're having more meaningful bonding relationships. Now we're going to look at the thing that your body. You've created a certain amount of independence, stability, groundedness, self-worth. They're becoming more stable, and the heart is aligning to, hey, I don't have to choose chaos or confusion. Now, if I said, what is it the soul would like you to address? And one of the things that I see that it wants you to address I'm looking for this. Now, this was going to be, you're going to have to notice, where did my happy go? Okay, so this is a particular emotion that you got to feel. The body says, where did my happy go? So it's looking and feeling that I have to wait for this moment. So you're going to be doing a lot of R2D. But you're at the stage of where it's more than a 10. You're moving into emotional movement, into a heart-led action, and your soul-led curiosity, and you're coming forward emotionally. And I said, yin or yang, and it says it's not both. The yin is learning that it doesn't have to collapse, which is a good thing. It's meant to help join and support your masculine side, or in this case, it's starting to create so that your new foundation is to be stronger. Okay, so it doesn't have to feel that it has to be in the victim state or become less than or be into I have to sabotage myself. Okay, so R2D, where'd my happy go? Kind of started addressing that you're happy, and then boom, start to catch how your brain says, you're supposed to see this trigger as this. And your soul is saying, no, she doesn't. So you're going to get more into, I've had this experience. I know this experience, which is a good thing. Now, the other part of where you're going to do R2D is because I'm looking at a small part of you is over here. A fractal part is over here going, I can't. I can't. And it's in the chest and in your shoulders, and you feel like the fear is bigger than who you are, and so there's this, but you can't see that as much as you're like, I missed out. No, I have to do this. I'm going to miss out. And so you're doing your best to what's called overcome. There's going to be a big problem. When you overcome, you're not addressing the emotions. You are only doing something to those emotions. So before you can get into that, you said, this is how I use fear to help me. This is how I overcome. And you need to not let that be your knee-jerk reaction. So Spirit is saying, this is also, like I said, R2D, that, so kind of feel the body. Breathe. Do you? So you just got to feel. You got to feel. Because these two parts are arguing with each other and they can't integrate like you want them to. And you're at the threshold of wanting to grow, but the energies inside your body are saying, oh, I can't see the other. I can't see the other, because it's fear served me, but has it? So one, where'd my happy go? And then you'll measure that, and then you go over to, I have to overcome. I have to survive. So you have this fear of missing out, which helps save you, but at the same time, fear gets to still control you. And once you get past that, you can get down into the fear where you thought, oh, I have to let fear still be in charge. I'm on the wrong screen. If I'm going to communicate with her, that means I got to come over here. Yes, I'm on point. Oh, thank goodness. Okay. Yes, that's my trigger. Did it take my piece? Yes. Okay. So you understand what I mean by the last one, Miss April. And Chosen, I will get to you in just a moment. Okay. I'll get to you because looks like you're new here. That's good. We will give you your free reading. Someone is paid. Okay. So yeah. All right. So Miss April, I'm looking at, now again, I'm looking at the way the spleen is. All right. The body wants to feel healthy again. It's not that it's not feeling healthy, only you understand what I'm saying here. But it says, the spleen says, but I want to support. I want to help in such a way. So, okay. I need you to address the one personality, this aspect over here that feels like it's only saw itself as low self-esteem. Now, I feel like it's over there going, see, I'm not seen again. See, I'm not heard again. No one's listening. See, and I asked, do you want to integrate? And it said, yes, but what? It's over by itself. So what I would like you to do, Miss April, Lynn, is to just address low self-esteem. I felt that I took on the invisible cape. Oh, yes. This one is actually stepping forward. It's not saying that I'm a particular age. I'm all of them. So it doesn't identify itself as a little overlooked. That would be a good one. So it had joy. And I asked that part of yourself, when did you feel like the interrupt occurred. This is more of a soul one. So this would be more of your karmic debt, the way that you got overlooked. So you brought that into it. I said, when was the marker? Inside the womb, at birth, anything? They said around 6.5, 7 years old. And I feel like you identified with somebody in school that had very low self-esteem, and you're like, oh, that's me. So you were reinforcing that part of yourself, while another part of you is out being different. But that part of you is ready. It's ready to say. So when you go to do it, I want you to have that part and ask it to join you in holding right wrist, second position deep. Okay. And let it measure. And if it doesn't want to hold, but it wants to draw, or if it wants to show you how it's going to stop identifying that way, ask them, what would be your next thought? Well, how would you solve this? Get their expert advice, okay? And then go and heal that and help that. Once you'll know when it gets down to zero, because then it's like, well, when you check in, they're like, I want to play. I want to play. And that's a good thing, because those parts of yourself can't bring the emotional baggage into the integrated part of who you are. Yes, R2D. Let's see if there's anything else in particular for you. Oh, you do. A very strong conviction, a strong belief, but the value is, it's important to me. It's important to me to survive. Now, again, that's really good, but because you believe that you can't survive, then you go into, I can't behave the way I want. So that declaration is, I can't believe, so you're little, around 6.5, goes, I can't behave the way I want, because I think this is school and stuff. And so we know that can be very strong, but the value is, it's important for me to stay safe. And so the only way it can stay safe is to avoid. And by overcoming is great, but the problem is we have to save that little girl of you. So there's a strong conviction, and I want you to go right back to R1D and listen to how your body's like going, oh my God, what? It's okay. You don't have to do it until you're ready. But the body's saying, it's just me, the body's consciousness saying is, I don't feel safe. I felt the fear and did it anyway. And I'm holding back and I'm trying to force myself. And so you're in your yin yang is like, woo. So just R1D it. Breathe it through. Yes, using my tools. Okay. Very angry. Oh, so I said, well, how can we help this one address the anger? Whoa. This you picked up from the environment. So you'll have to always see someone in your environment act a certain way with loftiness and anger. And so your little had taken on this expression that, I have to be, and I have to contain, and I can't be this, and I can't be that. So it has the temptation that it wants to, but it will not proceed to be angry. And so you are containing yourself. So little left wrist, second position deep. You are choosing not to respond that way. And it helped you at the time, but now it's not. Does that make sense? So I'm not sure what's going on. I see conversation and I see. Okay, so no worries. My mistake. Give it away. Oh, the other April popped in. I'm like, why is that? No, okay, whoops. So if the other April popped in, I missed that. Oh, see, okay. So now that I was, yes, missed. Okay, that was April Lynn. I'm sorry, I did not use the full thing because I did not see that. All right, now we're done with April Lynn, and let's go to April Thor, I think. Yes. So Miss April Thor, let's look. We're going to do a progress report. Okay, we're going to do a progress report for Thor, Miss April Thor. I'm sorry, didn't realize because I haven't gotten to that part, but yes, Miss Thor. And then we'll come over here because again, the page, get it over here. I told Chosen that I would read. So if you would be up next. Okay. So Thor, since you paid, I'm going to do a progress report real quick on this. And this means I have to go back in the time that we communicated. And we have to look at where you are at this moment. And we're going to find out where you are on your path. I'm starting to, it's really weird. I'm not sweating on the outside, but I'm sweating on the inside. When I'm looking at this progress report, I'm looking at how the soul and you are learning to communicate. Your emotional body feels a lot more safer. I don't see you as confused. I'm seeing this part of you. Where are we at? Is this lifetime coming? So I'm looking at the procrastination aspect. So this particular aspect, and this particular aspect, not all of you, feels quite ungrounded. Okay, so you're open. The idea that you're open and you have more clear intentions, but the part, that aspect that says procrastination is my identity. This is how I memorize this moment. And then how you know that is because your inner world will attract things in. And then you have this automatic response that says, oh. Okay, so I asked, is it more than a feel? And it says yes. So you have the physical body where, because we have earth elements of stomach and spleen, that's kind of like collapsed. And so you can't create out of the successes, you can't create stability. Okay. So this aspect is saying, I don't really know how to be grounded. And it's like, okay, your soul's ready, which is good. Is that aspect of you ready? Yes, it's good. I said, if we were to really look at this, what direction on a soul level do we want to go? Where do we start to work with this aspect? Now, I feel like this aspect is very fresh. It's very young as far as its ability to learn. It hasn't really learned a lot. It's just like, this is as far as I know. And I'm looking at the physical part, and the the physical. Okay, you fear too much, fear of being too much. You were at a particular point, I'm this, and the outside, the interrupt said no. Now your little had said, uh-oh, I'm too much. Maybe you were told that you were too much,
or whatever, but you have emotional mismatch and you thought, oh, if I choose this, I might choose wrong and I'll hear it. Or, oh my gosh, it's going to happen again because it already happened once. And so you have difficult receiving. So you're like, oh, because what I'm going to receive is not good. So the personality, this aspect, is very much in fear, and it shows up on this physical foundation. So I would like you to start address it with left wrist, second position, soft. Feel that, here's my choice. It's going to be wrong. If I choose, it's going to be wrong. And if I do too much, then I'm too much for people, and I'm too much, and people are going to yell at me. And then so you self-abandon, you overgive. And so you got to look at each one of these things I just said and measure them. Because the self-abandonment is supposed to keep you safe. We can't even get to the root, So physically, you may start to feel that you overthink, you freeze, you anxiety, you feel nauseous, or you feel sick, or your body's like, but the soul is ready, and the body is saying, wait, too fast. Okay. So in this case, we want you to look at what I just said. We have to build that relationship between your soul and your body, and your soul and body is like R1S. Okay. R1S, because your heart meridian, the heart that's supposed to be balanced, collapses so that you can't put your heart into it, if that makes sense. Okay. So when the heart begins to collapse, but you can't work directly on the heart, you have to work on the L2S, because you're like, okay, we don't have a relationship. Then you're going to take your hand, you're going to say, I connect my soul to my body. Lift your hand off. I connect my soul to the body. I connect my soul to the body. And kind of like feel that building a relationship. And you're going to start at the base, and you're going to say, my body and my soul are in a relationship. Take your hand up. My body and soul are in a relationship. Okay, so now energetically, we want all of your body and energies and your soul to start communicating. Okay, and once that starts to energetically linked, then when you start to you heal it down to zeros on each one of those, and you see that you're about ready to abandon yourself. Is it important? Is this a value? Because once you start to notice, is that important to you to self-abandon, you're at the choice point. Do I really have to? And you're going to go, I don't want to do that anymore. So when you get to that, only when you get to that I self-abandoned as your value, because the value container needs to be changed. Right wrist, third position, nice and soft. Look at that value, the importance of it. And just let yourself be. You don't have to think, just feel. And it should start because your body is ready. Been feeling crap emotionally. Yes, you are done with self-abandonment, but it had served. And we want to get the wisdom out of that particular choice, because again, this aspect says, but the rest of the body is saying, you're ready. And I think you are. Well, thank you so much for pain. That has helped with the cause of moving forward. And thank you for letting me be of service. Now, somebody over here, are they still present? Are they still ready for their free reading? Hi, Jenny. How are you? Well, Jenny, you just explained something real quick, which was, well, we're waiting for them. Real quick is your body and you are out of sync. So you are out of sync. How do I fight a cold and I feel like my body is telling me to slow down? But you don't want to slow down. You have to get all of you in sync. And if I said, Jenny, that you're out of sync, then you probably have safety protocols that I have to do this, and you won't even realize that you're doing it. I would get your body to slow down by taking R1S and look at the history. And that is take how you know, measure what you just said, how you know it, then take your thumb, place it in the first position, and then sit there and hold this and just breathe and feel how the body is saying, you know, slow down. The rest of you is like, I can't. Feel the division. Just feel. Just feel. Just feel. You may get some epiphanies, write those down, but let the body communicate. It wants to be heard and acknowledged. Davin. No, you can. You can ask the question. I'm trying to see if they must have left. They must have left. It's okay. Just checking to see if anybody else has paid. Well, you know, for those that want to stick around, thank you so much. When you're ready, you're ready. And when you're not, you're not. And when your programs tell you, you don't be ashamed. It may take you a few times. A lot of people will watch me for months before they open their mouth. They left, and that's okay. We never know. We never know what circumstances could have caused anything. So we want to and respect where people are, just so that, and I feel like somebody wants to go, well, they left, they couldn't even, no, understand that's attitude from the ego. We hold space so that you all can heal and that you are felt loved. Okay. So Davin, you start to come up with your question. I'm going to go over it and get the next person. Oh, where's the button? The next person, and then I'll give you a reading afterwards. How's about that? Huh. All these buttons to push. All these buttons to push. And divinely, if you happen to show up, or if you came back in. Okay, no problem, Davin. No problem. Okay, so I'm going to send off the link. We're going to get a live person to come on in a minute. Good, Jenny. Okay, so if you feel like it's in there, keep going, keep healing. We want everything, learn to measure, bring it down to 0. And because when you start to bring it back, your brain is going to reject this. We're supposed to always do this. And when the information comes back, because your life force is learning to change to be in the body, you may reject it. But this is where you wake up and you go, wait a minute. This is a lesson. And then if you start to see it and you start to notice a knee jerk, even if it's way after, use the points again to heal, to go deeper. Okay. Here is our guest. Hi. Hi, how are you? Hopefully everybody can hear you fine. Just let me know. And
I am good.
How can I help? First of all, before we go any further, Spirit had said that because like you've been reading my memes of music, you have been understanding that the soul will talk to you through dreams. And the dreams are not what people think they are on an ego sense. So you kind of had similar dreams to what I did today.
Yeah. So we have this friend whose birthday is today for us and tomorrow for her because she's in North America. And so I had wished her a happy birthday last night before I went to bed. And then when I woke up this morning, I woke up and she had messaged me back and I messaged her back and then I went back to sleep. And I dreamt that she had to choose between Judy Garland and Dorothy.
Okay, so Judy Garland is famous. She has a persona, but she had a hard life. And Dorothy was about the Yellow Book Road, right? The part she played.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. Well, what is your definition? Okay.
And I heard Judy Garland and then Dorothy, and it didn't click until I was talking to you this morning that they're the same person.
Exactly. Okay, good, good.
And then after once I woke up, I heard the song in my head, One Moment in Time.
Ooh, so what's that song represent?
That song is about the journey of becoming your true authenticity.
Very good. And because of that, you have been working on a very specific thing, doing soul work with your soul, and the soul topic was authority. What do you know?
That there was a lot of people in my life that dominated what I could do.
Okay.
And took authority of my autonomy.
No, that is definitely, they took authority, but you gave, on a soul level, you need them to show up that way so that you could learn what it's like to do that sort of stuff. On a soul level, you needed to feel what the receiver felt. On a soul level, you have to learn to trust yourself again, to not believe this, to grow from it. So as I look at your cards, the soul cards I drew, it's very clear you're working on what released and still loosening, but not fully gone. You have the grief, the emotional collapse. So your emotions controlled you. Okay. So when I said that your emotions controlled you, the outside said that you then are the victim and that you're supposed to be choosing passive because that's what your soul chose. But what was happened is that there was a part of you that was startled. So you had joy, you had the interrupt, and it affected the emotions in the emotional body, but your female part of you collapsed, which was your support, which is your spleen, and your lung, which is to take in life. So I can't receive, I can't do this, and oh my gosh, and you are now stuck and over-identified with this grief. So you're learning how to be authority over your emotional body. You're learning to be your own authority over your own burdens and the authority over your own freedom. So the card says I'm supposed to be in regret, sorrow, disappointment. These are all the things below love. But the emotional wound of having that experience is that you put your life force into it, and a certain amount of life force is there, which you only get 100%, but it left you powerless. So you must have gave a lot. So the child part of you that used the left brain to, again, you didn't have a lot of cognitive skills. You're too young. But what it did was it internalized it as failure, loss. I'm not enough. I can't fix this. It's there, and therefore it's heavy, and therefore it becomes part of your root of your wound. So now you started to work and heal backwards about authority issues. Why do you see it? Why is it happening? And you don't have to keep giving your life force to let the authorities constantly still have control over you. So we're looking at this authority wound. We're going even farther backwards. And you released a lot of the overwhelm, carrying too much, emotional exhaustion, and a burden. And the idea that you had to take responsibility for others and emotionally regulate them. Have you noticed that you're doing that or not doing that anymore?
I'm not doing that as much anymore. No.
Not as much. So the question then is, who is the signature in front of you where you don't do it as much? And who is the signature in front of you where you're still doing it? Okay. Now, do you get certain power off it? Do you feel accepted? Do you feel that you have to because it's indebted? I have to because you say
it's indebted is what I just heard.
Okay. So notice again, these are perspectives. Each one of them is very much strong, but you dropped the pattern of carrying too much. So you had done a nice, because with the success and tools, you have learned to process this. Now, the other is how you loosened the bondage, the addiction, the entrapment, the patterns, the fear of self-sabotage. Okay. So you were looking at how you would self-sabotage yourself, or how the world told you you're supposed to sabotage others to have joy. So again, you're looking at different perspectives of this word. So now it becomes, I'm witnessing that I'm not doing and being how I used to always do it. So you did it for like 50 some years. And now you literally, for the first time, have been presented with tests, and you're like, I'm not doing it. It's not, I'm not doing it. It was, wait, I just had a test and I'm not doing it. So give people the example of what you mean.
So we were out by the pool and something came up, and one of you guys had to go in and heal. And normally I would follow. I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I stayed
But
present
you didn't
with
know
the
it
other
until
one.
it was presented.
But I didn't know it because we were a little, Anyway.
No, but you weren't. And then the next time it presented itself again, you did not, you noticed it right off the bat that.
I noticed it right off the bat, and it's like, oh, no, I'm going to stay here because this one needs more information about what the other one was talking about. So that's what I did.
Right. So you're starting to realize that you don't have to take on other people's karma. You don't have to show up. That's how love looks. You don't have to do these things. So I'm looking at the next part of your growth, and that is you have blocked your expansion because you said, I have to. And you can't take that next step because it's not just hesitation. It's like there was a part of you that said something with a certain declaration, and we may have to figure out what that is. And as I look at these soul cards, I'm looking at how I can't stop looking at, like, when I go to do something and I watch people's reactions. Oh my God, so you're seeing the gestures, you're hearing the tone, and instead of going how you used to do it again, always have to be the one to emotionally regulate and run from the other because the other one has pain. So this is your parents. You're starting to realize I don't have to. I can honor both parents. So you projected us to be both of your parents, but I feel like you still haven't got your power back because you're stuck in, oh my God, I'm going to do it wrong. Oh, it's the gut punch. It's I did something wrong.
Yep.
So we're looking at balancing after pain. So how can you rebalance after the pain? What that means, we have to look at the OMG. Now, okay. You know how when people have nostalgia, they'll talk about, remember the good old days, remember this and that?
Yep.
But when people talk about their pain, they have been recognized. They have been visible. They have been celebrated. Take a moment to what I just said. If you show up just like they do, in your pain body, in your stories, you are recognized, you're accepted, you're one of them. And then the love that can be expressed from the person makes you feel bonded and safe. Even though shit's going to hit the fan afterwards.
And that's starting to spin me out.
You've been in a situation just recently?
Right now.
Oh, right now you're trying to spin. Oh, sorry. Do R2D. Okay. So we just, not intentionally, but however I was saying it must have been familiar enough that her body is spinning out. Now, this is her privacy. This is the way she wants to look. So do you want me to turn the camera off or anything?
Nah.
Okay. So she's being vulnerable. She's being raw. And there's no shame in how you respond to survive. But this aspect is saying, I am in the dark night of the soul. And so we're kind of like getting into the belly of the beast, where to survive and to adapt, she had to mimic having issues or to know the language of how to communicate in the family. It's about survival. I have to use the language. See, now she's healing and outgrowing her old way of being. And so now it is like she needs to get her body to say, I don't need to go, oh my God, there has to be a story. Oh my God, there has to be a drama. Oh my God, there has to be, something. So you got really into a movie last night. Oh, it was so good. But notice how there was domination, how there was violence, how you don't listen. I'm going to trickery you into thinking that you have no power.
Oh, the second movie really got me twice.
Really?
Learning the vapors twice.
In a very sad way or a very happy way?
Sad.
Okay.
Like, I relate.
All right. Were you the lawyer or were you the victim?
Victim.
Now notice how much familiarity can control you. Notice how much that is your identity. I have to have that certain. Your body, you can age all you want, but that's my story. That's telling you where you left a big chunk of your life force.
Mm-hmm.
What scene, you don't have to tell me, but there are a couple particular scenes, you said two, that create vapors. Can you see the storyline? Can you see the reaction? Can you see you identified with something? Feel it.
Uh-huh.
And remember, this is all piggybacking on how the authority is supposed to control her world, because she's working on an authority wound. And right now, I'm having her hold R2D.
Yes.
To look at the dark night of the soul, of how you're there and it's painful and it's familiar and it's dark. Just feel it. So if you're following along, that's what I would say to do. So all right, I just keep looking. Now, she's going to heal. She's going to ignore me. I'm going to communicate with you. Some of you are going to have authority wounds. And you have to remember you were joy and then there was an interrupt. Not everybody will jump right to the dark night of the soul. Some of you will be like, oh my God, my peace is gone. I feel attacked. That would also be right wrist, second position, deep. You literally can feel it entering your space and you need to show up the same way to survive. So we're looking at this adaptation part of you. It's serving you. It's like a safety blanket. But I want you to go, I was convinced I have no control or no power or no way to make this stop. Again, you'll do right wrist, second position, nice and deep. Begin to just measure and then hold and then feel. Once you get into the feel, and just remember to breathe through any physical thing that can come up. But you may get to the stage where the thoughts, and if you can hear how your thought is, write it down, But that thought will change based on the emotions that are changing, and new thought will start to precede itself, or the wisdom will start to come out so you can see it. Okay. Now, if you yawn, that's good. That's energy moving. That's what you want. That's what you want. And I'm checking in with you, Amy.
I feel
Now,
like I'm at a 2.
okay, who would you be without this aspect? Can you do it without the aspect? Can you integrate this aspect so it can have happiness again?
I mean, I can do that.
Oh, that's a good sign. That's a good sign. Don't force the thoughts. Just stay in the feels, and you will begin to hear things differently, especially when you follow the feels. Now, when she's done, she's going to look up and tell me she's done. Oh, Divine Chosen is back. Chosen, if you're here, I can still give you a reading. I see that you're back. So
That was interesting
talk to me.
because I went back to when I was little and was at school at Girl Scouts, and something happened and I had to walk home, and I had to tell mom what happened, and she got mad at me, and there was no reason for her to get mad at me because I didn't have a choice as to what happened at school.
So she was disappointed in how you behaved. Okay.
Yeah. And that part of me is like, it wasn't my fault. But before I did the healing, that part of me was like, well, it's my fault because I didn't do what I needed to do. I did what I was told to do.
Okay. Okay. Now, again, that was a shock. It was joy and then life and in that interrupt. Now, do you feel like that part is still feeling it has to hold on to that particular aspect to handle that disappointment?
No, it doesn't.
Good. And what I'm noticing is that you're learning to take this part of you that says, I'm supposed to have this aspect be the one. And this aspect says, I don't have to keep looking out for these safeguards. So that's a good sign. And so if I look at the authority wound, I really don't see it as strong as it was that you've carried it for years. In fact, you're in the recalibration stage. So hook up, get your giggles on, and then just ask Spirit to download a song for you. And we can talk for a few more minutes.
Okay.
Okay. In the recalibration stage, this is where you got to be kind to yourself. You just start to live your life, but then you say, thank you, Spirit, for showing me. And you will then be seen. So have you had ability to build that relationship between you and Spirit? And how have you been shown because of all your healings?
Songs will pop in, certain memes will pop in and make me go, oh, or like I'll be watching, I'll be scrolling through TikTok or something, and something will pop up and it's like, oh, I'm supposed to pay attention to that.
Okay, so you're learning to understand the language, and your ego is not really responding in its way. You're starting to feel the intuition is building, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So as I pull a card to see where you're standing at this moment, it says that you have healed the collapse, the burden, the bondage, and the fear of expansion. So You're learning, and part of you has to learn skills that you already have, that you are stable, that you are grounded, and that you're learning to stand on your energetic 2 feet without feeling you have to involve others. You have your own personal stability, your grounding identity, your self-sufficient, your emotional independence, your confidence is learning to rise. Your sovereignty still, it feels stronger. Your nervous system feels more regulated. And you know that you already are enough without having to put that seated doubt. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So you
It
have a
does.
good progress report, which is good.
Yeah, that is
Okay.
awesome.
So just think about the old way you were thinking. The belief, I cannot stand alone. So what was important to you? I need to feel what?
I need to feel safe, but I was always trying to find the safety outside of self because that was what I was taught.
Right. So you have all of these other people's beliefs that you grew up with. I cannot stand alone. I cannot have, I need external validation. I'm not enough. I can't sustain my own energy. And when things happen, I have to collapse my support. I can't support myself and I don't have self-worth. And
Yep, all of those things.
but
And
now,
that's not true.
right, you don't have to believe your own.
BS, which is belief systems and bullshit.
So when you're alone in your head and when your left brain start telling you stuff, are you starting to realize that it's not really real?
Yeah.
Very good.
Sometimes I still go there, but I know it's not real, but it's like you have to go there to heal it.
Right. So you can change the way that your energy is projecting out. That's good. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it.
Welcome. Thank you.
And you're welcome. And we will talk to you tomorrow on Tribal.
Alrighty.
All right. Love you, hon. Bye.
Love you too. Bye.
Okay. So is Chosen or Davin here? What are your questions? What would you like? I can help you out. How may I serve? We're going to check to see if anybody else has sent anything. Nope. Okay, that's no problem. If you want to, you can do 5, 15, or 25. 25 gets you to have the live. You know, so share your experiences with me. See where you're invested your life force. Okay, so Davin, you might be on mute. I gotta look. Let's see where you're at. So earlier I had a memory of something heavy falling my head when I was younger, and I was wondering if that did anything spiritual to me or changed something. So when you are questioning about an experience, you know, was there an effect from it? And let's just look to see. Okay. I'm looking at how the event in energy caused a pause. In developing, it caused a pause. Energetically, kind of stopped. It had to pause. And in this break of the pause, you developed an ability to wait and trust. So it kind of gave you a good thing. But the nervous system, pacing, the wound is your nervous system's pacing. So we're going to look at these wound. And so when you have this and you pause, there's a part of you that says, do I invest energy? And then you have this fear of these outcomes. What if something goes wrong? So these particular things is that the body says that you're in a freeze moment, and it may feel like the body says that I have to be in a loop. I have to keep looking for these particular things. Something can hit me out of nowhere. And just that simple phrase, think about it. Something can hit me out of nowhere, Davin. Something. Okay, so you got to pause, you got to wait. But when I ask, what can you do to rebuild or to repair or to address it? You have to build the stability inside of you. And you need to build this inner foundation so your nervous system feels safe again. And when it begins to feel safe, it can regulate the emotion body. You're also working on the root chakra, but you're also feeling, okay, I feel stable on this earth. So there is safety. But building that trust for the future and building that trust in the body is where you need to begin. So Davin, I'm going to say to do so, I want you to do R2S because your body has a little bit of not trusting, so it has anxiety. And you may not be emotionally connected with it, but there is a certain amount of physical anxiety because your proprioception says, where am I in time and space? So you're going to go right wrist, second position, soft. So even though it caused you to pause, your left brain, when you were little, sat there and said, it's because of this, which then caused you to be fear of the future because it could come out of nowhere. So there's a belief system that, you know, it could happen again. And when you feel like it's going to happen again and it's going to come out of nowhere, then it's right wrist, first position, deep, R1D. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, is there anybody else that's new and like a reading? Can you see the importance of why you work with your soul, learn the soul language, how it can benefit you, how you can grow, how you can change your timelines, you can change in your chakras, you can literally begin to look at that physical level and notice you can do something about it. No, I do not know what you're talking about. Celestial says, yeah, I'm sure I am randomly thinking about it because it wasn't scary or anything. It's just unexpected. But the part of you was, it can happen again. It's going to come out of nowhere. No, I'm in more about what the soul wants you to work on in the emotional body so it can change the mental body and it can solve the karma and help solve the spiritual debt. Okay. So anyway. Well, that's good. It's a rare alignment. Hope, unity, balance, stuff that I work with. Balancing is a renewal. Yes, that's what we want. Yes, and so I help people help themselves get ready for it, so they can take in that new frequency, or they can be take it in and really work on closing down some of those. What do you call it? Or unhealthy misalignment below 500 hertz. That's part of what my job is. You are welcome, Davin. You are welcome. All right. I'm going to just check to see if there's anything else, if anybody wants anything else, or if you're new here and you want a free soul reading to figure out what you need to heal or what you want to address of what's going on. We can help you in this fashion, that we can help you use your body to help yourself to dissolve the chemical peptides so you can become at that choice point, which is a good thing. which is a good thing. We'll give it a few more minutes. And again, I'm looking around if there's anybody else that, whatever reading you may get, you can rewatch it again, because behind me is a clock. Some of you can see it, some of you can't. And that clock will be your timestamps for you. You'll see your name, you'll see the timestamp. You just line it up with the clock behind you. Okay. All right. You are so welcome, Thor. And we will see you in Tribe tomorrow. Yes. All right. So as I'm looking around, I think we're all finished. And so, yes, hashtag resolve to evolve. Heal instead of deal. Thank you, Spirit. Next stepping stone. You got this. And when you start to learn more about how to become a spiritual human, how to let your soul lead first, you will learn how to live as more of a unity, happiness, balance, joy, and that you can hold hope instead of having to seek out hope to solve your issues. You'll be able to do what you need to do. So I'll see a lot of you in Tribal tomorrow, and that'll be good. We'll see what communication that people or that spirit wants you to know. And you're already blessed and you're already whole. So I want you to stay blessed and happy healing. Oops, hold on. I got to do one more thing before I go any further.